I occasionally get so wrapped up in the mastery of a particular artist that I completely miss the big picture beauty present in their craft. Such was the case when I first heard REN. This is me analyzing high REN, the first time I had ever heard anything to do with REN. I was not expecting that at all. I guess I didn't really know what to expect. That is some amazing control. That's a really hard thing to do. To be able to have those glottal stops. That's easy to do in chest voice, but so I'm getting all technical. And yeah, he did impress me initially, and he continues to impress me with what he does with his voice. But in my particular reaction and analysis of this song, I was way off the mark because my head was going to all the technical things that he was doing that impressed me. And it wasn't until the very end of this analysis that I realized, oh, wow. Yeah, this guy's about way more.
When I was 17 years old, I shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas, that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences, with autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare, but there were victims.
Wow. Huh.
And there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast.
This whole thing is coming from a real place, and why he can embody all these different dynamics. You gotta be yourself. You gotta be vulnerable. This is the ultimate invulnerability right here. Incredible.
It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got.
Yes!
The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax. And I learned to soften, and that dance got easier.
The thing is, and this is part of the charm, is that REN is a master. He is so good at so many things with his voice, with his music, with his composition, incredibly creative. I happened upon his rap god drilling, where he keeps continuing to bring the tempo higher and higher and higher, and just would get lost in him working on his own art and his own skill.
Pickle the flow, choke but the woodchuck could they would choke, would touch, would hit him with a blow, all good with the left hook, right foot, Tyson Frazier, Joe, pit, pat, dig it, tag him in the pap, the rap with the grammar on his tag him when I dig it, like a bigger, badder and badder, I dig in the trigger, the vision, precision, I'm leaving, I'm big when I blow, spitting for Britain, I'm flipping like yo-yo, cold big catchy flow, should it be headed and dead in the dodo, oh, watch my garden grow, yeah, I'm a pro, Mary, fucking 10 more times. Alright, last one, we're on 200 BPM now, sorry, I'm having fun now, let's try it.
So he's pushing his own limits and having fun with it. The fact that this is even out there and that he's filming this video, period, shows that he's not afraid to be vulnerable, even with just, his perspectives on life and his illness and all that stuff, but even in his development as an artist. And shortly after I discovered Hi REN, I was made aware that REN had been watching my videos for a few years prior to me discovering him, and he'd used my videos to work on aspects of his voice.
I really want to say thank you to you, man, because honestly, I've watched a lot of your videos before you even reacted to me, and you are one of my favorite singing coaches on YouTube, so thank you. I really think it's beautiful the way, what I really liked about your approach was you do, a lot of it is kind of like, okay, there's technique, yes, and that's important, but it's so much about the expression and it's so much about the freedom. And I really like that approach. Which is why I watched a lot of your videos. It really clicked with me, how you were trying to teach. And yeah, I just want to say thank you as well, because you are responsible for part of my growth as an artist.
And while I was thankful for that, I couldn't help returning to my state of mind while I was analyzing Hi REN in that moment, because some of the things that he was thanking me for were not what I was highlighting in what REN was really all about. Not because it wasn't there, it's because I was focusing on the things that oftentimes I tell people not to focus on first. My values were messed up. And in this whole process of getting to know REN's music and getting to know REN and having him, all this, I became more and more aware of how sometimes I do this with other artists. I lean so far into the nerdiness of vocal approach and the technicalities of things that I miss the art in it. Not all the time, but definitely sometimes. And it's something that I'm constantly working on. Now, thing is, this channel is devoted towards celebrating great vocals and learning how to be a better vocalist ourselves. Taking in the mastery of other artists and using that as a way to inform our own growth as musicians. But, and I'm saying this to myself as much or even more than you who is watching this video, we must not put the quest for technical goodness or technical growth in our voices ahead of what made us want to use our voices in the first place. And that includes how we take in the art. If I'm so busy trying to figure out how this artist does that scream or hits that note, I'm forgetting about the value of context, about connection, and the whole reason we make any kind of noises, good or bad, genuine communication. Otherwise, it's just noise.
I love particularly the ones that were quite Jeff Buckley focused, because I'm a massive Jeff Buckley fan. If you go to a live show, you're never going to hit, if you go 2 nights in a row, for example, you won't hear the song played in the same way. And I love that because it's kind of really expressing what's there in the moment to be expressed. And and I'm a real firm believer in that because I think it just really connects you to that moment, because you can be feeling totally different from one day to the next. And to tap into what that feeling in that day is, I think that's one of the reasons I absolutely love Jeff Buckley. I just think he was a generational talent, man.
I just had to make this video because as I've been working more on my original music lately and wanting to share that with others, I have to have this perspective that it's about communicating and connecting way more so than it is about just projecting what you can or cannot do as a vocalist, as an artist. And yeah, I struggle with that. I need to remind myself of that. That's not to say that we shouldn't pursue great technique, that we shouldn't learn to be masters at our craft. We just have to keep things in balance. So I hope this was a good reminder to you, as it was a reminder to me. Thank you so much for engaging with my videos over the years, for enjoying music with me, and for learning. If you'd like to go deeper with me, click the link in the pinned comment or video description and join my free singing course. We can go in lots of different directions from there. And here's a playlist of all and growing my REN analysis videos for you to dig into if you haven't already. Take care.